Hi guys, welcome to the first webcast this week. Today we're going to talk about the alimentary canal. It's going to bring together a lot of what we've discussed before in these webcasts. First off, there's going to be all four main types of tissue. Epithelial, we're going to have epithelium, connective tissue, muscle tissue, and nervous tissue. And this is going to make this system an organ. So all four main types of tissue leads to an organ. First off, there's going to be four layers of the alimentary canal wall, four layers. From deep to superficial, they're the mucosa, the submucosa, the muscularis externa, and the serosa. So we got from deep to superficial, mucosa, submucosa, muscularis externa, and serosa. So I'm going to try to just hop right into this drawing here, and we'll go through them. So that first one was the mucosa. So we'll start by just drawing out. We've got the lumen right here, and now everything green here is going to be part of the mucosa, and so the mucosa here itself has a few layers. So first off, this is the lumen of the alimentary canal, and the mucosa is going to be a mucosal membrane. Remember that those normally line the inside of hollow organs. So we're going to have epithelium. Let's see. This was mucosa. So first off, we're going to have this layer that's right surrounding the lumen is going to be epithelium. And specifically, it's going to be simple columnar. So simple columnar epithelium. Outside of that, we're going to have a layer of connective tissue, which is the lamina propria. And this is the connective tissue portion. And outside of that, we're going to have the muscularis mucosae. So our final layer of the mucosa is going to be the muscularis mucosae. And one thing that's worth mentioning here is inside this lamina propria, we're actually going to have immune cells. So I'm going to draw this. Let's pick this color here. I'm just going to draw this in here. And this is going to be something called MALT, M-A-L-T, which is mucosal associated lymphoid tissue. So M-A-L-T. So you can think of this as a good first line of defense for any foreign invaders trying to come through your alimentary canal. So mucosal associated lymphoid tissue. The next layer, so draw this back. Let's see if we can copy out of the book this figure 23.7a on page 672 if you want to follow along. Is going to be the submucosa. Here is the submucosa. Important things to point out here is it's going to have exocrine glands. And the mucosa, it looks like it's going to have some exocrine glands as well. I'm going to point it out here in the submucosa. Submucosa. speed up here a little bit. Exocrine glands. So these are glands that are going to secrete into the lumen of the alimentary canal. So I'll try to draw one here, going into the lumen. It's also going to have blood vessels. And nerve tissue. Specifically, it's going to have the submucosal nerve plexus. Submucosal nerve plexus. And you're going to have two of these nerve plexi in your alimentary canal. So nerve plexus. First one, like I said, is the submucosal. Do this in blue. And this is going to be responsible for controlling blood flow and exocrine gland control. Submucosal nerve plexus. So we've got blood flow and exocrine gland control. Alright. So we'll keep moving back here to the next layer. Which is the muscularis externa. Muscularis externa. This is going to have two main layers. First layer, it's going to have two main layers of muscle, excuse me. So let's break this up into two layers here. And this first layer of muscle is going to be circular muscle. So let's see, muscularis externa. So we're going to have a layer right here of circular muscle. So that's muscle that's going to, when it contracts, is going to close off the canal. It's going to make the canal more narrow and close it off. And then here we have longitudinal muscle. And what this is going to do is going to make the canal shorter. So when it contracts, it's going to contract this way instead of this way around. And so these two acting together are going to create a motion called peristalsis. Peristalsis. So we have circular muscle, this closes the canal, and then longitudinal muscle shortens canal, and together these are going to create peristalsis. Which is going to propel food down your digestive system, down your alimentary canal. And we're also going to have a nerve plexus associated with this layer, and that nerve plexus is going to be the myenteric nerve plexus. So myenteric nerve plexus, and this is going to control smooth muscle associated with peristalsis. Control smooth muscle associated with peristalsis. Cool. Moving on to the next layer. So draw these back. Next and final layer in our list here is the serosa. The serosa. And this is going to actually be a serous membrane. This is going to be part of the visceral peritoneum. Visceral peritoneum. And let's see. Let's finish off this layer. And so now we've diagrammed. We'll be diagramming both types of membranes that we went over. So we had our mucosal membrane right here. And now we're going to be talking about our serous membrane. And this is going to be the visceral layer. The visceral layer. So that was broken up into our two layers of connective tissue and epithelium as well. But it's going to be in the opposite order, right? So I've drawn this a little bit too thick here. Let's see if we can redo it actually. I'm trying to make this a tiny bit thinner. Okay, this will help a little bit. So we've got our layer here of connective tissue, and that connective tissue is going to be on the inside this time instead of outside of the epithelium. So we've got our serosa, and we've got our layer of connective tissue, and then our layer of epithelium or mesothelium. Mesothelium, remember that's a special name for it. Epithelium. Remember that's going to be simple squamous epithelium for filtration. And like I said, this is going to be continuous with the whole peritoneum. So remember how we talked about how if you walked along the inside layer of this epithelial layer here, then you could walk all the way around to the parietal surface of that. Other thing that that is worth mentioning here, I'm not sure if I did down here, is that this epithelium here is going to have microvilli on the inside, which is how it's going to increase its surface area in order to increase the amount of absorption that it can have. And I think that was everything. Around the outside of the serosa is what's called a mesentery, and that's the method of how all the nerves and arteries and veins and lymph vessels get to the alimentary canal so they can be protected, but I'm not going to diagram that in this. So I think that's about all. We showed all four layers of the alimentary canal, talked about what's found in all of them, the nerve plexuses as well as the lymph tissue, and the method that the body uses in order to propel food down the alimentary canal. So that is going to be it for today. Thanks for watching, guys.